BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. More on them shortly. The aviation industry has never seen a pandemic like COVID-19, with multiple airlines agreeing that this is the worst position they have ever been in. Travel demand has indeed plummeted to zero in a time that would usually be gearing up for the busy summer season and period. Instead, fleets are grounded around the world. Airlines are assessing liquidity, and some are in talks to head into administration, or, like Virgin Australia and Flybe, are indeed already there. The International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, has estimated that international capacity is going to drop by as much as roughly 2/3 from previous forecasts. Now, this is for the first 3 quarters of this calendar year, 2020. A staggering fact that in addition was topped off with numbers saying international traffic could drop by 1.2 billion travellers by September of this year alone. It comes as more and more borders do indeed remain shut, with talks to keep them shut. Focus is now going to shift to Australia, with their handling of COVID-19 inevitably different to some other countries with cases relatively low in comparison to, say, the United States or indeed the United Kingdom. Australia has the sole aim of flattening the curve for COVID-19, and this is something it is indeed currently achieving. And while social distancing measures will be eased in the future, what we're starting to see countries even in Europe look into is international travel still seeing strict bans implemented to prevent a worse second wave coming through. The Chief Medical Officer of Australia said that relaxing any border measures would now be incredibly risky, stating that ideally the borders would indeed be relaxed in some 3 to 4 months or potentially longer. I say potentially longer as we have seen other sites, quote, saying it could last until the end of this calendar year and potentially into 2021. But this really is the best source when talking, as it's coming directly from the Chief Medical Officer. It's something that needs to be worth noting given we've already seen Virgin Australia enter into administration, but with international travel likely being banned for many more months, airlines like Qantas and more that actively fly out of Australia or into it will feel the heat from it, no doubt. It's also worth noting that my focus here surrounds Australia, but countries in Europe that put their foot down on restrictions earlier on are also looking at keeping international travel bans in place, even when they do ease social distancing measures or reopen shops. This is a concern for a number of airlines on the brink of shutting down, as if they cannot operate internationally for however long and can't secure the important government aid or funding, they're essentially in trouble. For Delta, Ed Bastian, the chief executive, has been very clear and open in discussing the impact, which has made making videos on them specifically incredibly interesting and also easier to create. He said that Delta was chewing through a whopping US $60 billion every single day and is seeing over 600 aircraft currently grounded, parked up, or simply not flying. Adding that their total flights cancelled for this month had reached 80% of their schedule, and they do expect that to continue through to May and potentially further on. Every single major airport around the world is also seeing quite staggering drop-offs in passengers pass through and international flights as well, with airports like Dubai, Amsterdam, and also Heathrow seeing drop-offs of over 1,000 flights. To put it simply, daily international flights operated around the world have dropped by some 87% only since January. Now, this is staggering. One of the problems airlines and groups are facing now, on top of COVID-19, like that at Delta, is actually being unaware of when demand for travel will return. No one can predict that. It therefore makes predicting how to handle the pandemic within the airline quite difficult. As discussed in earlier videos, it ultimately also impacts demand for new aircraft, seeing aircraft manufacturers Airbus and Boeing hit as well. During this lockdown quarantine period, we're stuck inside, and therefore likely using the internet a lot more than we typically would. That's why having a safe VPN like NordVPN can help protect you in these instances. With more people than ever online, it's a time for people to also target your information, unfortunately, like your key logins, banking information, and more. NordVPN can help you stay invisible online and protect you from unwanted interruptions. Home Wi-Fi configurations are not often as secure as officers usually, hence the need ultimately for a good and safe VPN. You can actually get NordVPN at the link on your screen now and in the description/pin comment. If you use the code DJ's Aviation, you can actually get 70% off the 3-year plan while also getting 1 extra month completely free on the house. Thank you very much to NordVPN for once again sponsoring another video here on the channel in what is a pretty difficult time for content creators. With that being said, if you have any thoughts on the current state of the aviation industry, do not hesitate to let me know, and I will see you all in the next video, hopefully very soon.